talk about what it really takes for a financial firm to win on the global stage. Here's a hint. It's not about your physical address. Not at all. It's about something way more powerful, your perceived presence. We're going to break down exactly why that is.
You've probably heard this a million times, right? The idea that you absolutely need that prestigious postcode to be a real global player. Well, I'm here to tell you that's just not true. Your location is not your destiny.
But hang on a second. While your office address might not be the key, there's another factor that is absolutely 100% critical. It's something that can literally make or break your entire international strategy.
And here it is. This is the cold, hard truth of our digital world. In a global marketplace, if people can't see you, you might as well not even exist. To potential partners, to clients, to anyone who matters, you're a ghost. This brings us right to something I call the global invisibility trap. It's this classic problem where really successful regional firms try to go global, and suddenly, all their momentum just seems to vanish into thin air. And look, let's be clear, you're probably doing amazing things where you are. You've got a rock-solid platform, your execution is top-notch, and you've built up this fantastic, loyal client base at home. Those are huge wins.
But what happens when you try to step outside that local bubble? When you reach out to that international partner or that high-value client from another continent, what do they see when they look you up?
Yeah, crickets. Nothing. All that hard work, your great reputation, your local strength, poof, it doesn't travel. On the global stage, you're starting from scratch.
And this invisibility, it has very real symptoms. It means no mentions in the international media, no chatter about you in global financial circles, and absolutely zero of those authority signals that build immediate credibility.
So when that potential partner Googles your firm and finds, well, nothing, they don't think, oh, a hidden gem. No way. They see one thing, and one thing only: risk. An unknown brand is just an unpredictable risk.
And that perceived risk, it hits your bottom line hard. Banks drag their feet on partnerships, payment providers put your application at the bottom of the stack, and those big introducing brokers, they won't even return your calls. It's not because you're not good enough, it's because to them, you're a nobody. Let's just burn this equation into our minds, okay? In global finance, unknown equals risk, period. It is the single biggest wall standing between you and serious growth.
Okay, so if that's the problem, how in the world do we fix it? Well, first, we have to completely tear down this old idea that holds so many firms back. I'm talking about the illusion of location.
This is the fundamental mindset shift you have to make. The old, flawed thinking is that success depends on where you are. The reality, the new rule of the game, is that success comes from where you're seen. It's not about geography, folks, it's about visibility.
Which brings us to the absolute heart of this entire explainer. In the global financial world, there is a currency that is more valuable than almost anything else. And that currency is perception.
Just think about it from their point of view for a second. Traders, they follow the firms they see talked about everywhere. Introducing brokers, they're going to partner with firms that have a rock-solid reputation. And payment service providers, they prioritize firms that project a powerful, trustworthy image. See the pattern? It all comes back to these signals of perception. This might be the most important takeaway of all. Your perception is often more powerful than your actual reality. A good firm that is perceived as great will beat a great firm that's perceived as an unknown every single time. That is the fundamental rule of this game.
All right, so if perception is the goal, how do you actually build it? How do you manufacture it? The answer is by firing up the engine that drives visibility, strategic PR. Now, when I say PR, I want you to forget what you think you know. This isn't just about blasting out a press release and crossing your fingers. Strategic PR is the deliberate, calculated process of positioning your firm as an authority. It's about engineering trust from the ground up. And you know, here's a trap so many people fall into. They think they need to create more and more content, more blog posts, more market analysis. But the problem usually isn't your content, it's your distribution. Content that nobody sees is just wasted effort. So how does this engine actually work? It's a pretty straightforward three-step process. First, strategic press releases get your name into the trusted media outlets that people already read and respect. Second, those placements become powerful authority signals, like digital badges of honor. And third, doing this consistently over time compounds that trust, making you a recognized go-to name.
Now, when you put all these pieces together, when you get that engine running smoothly, you finally arrive at the ultimate formula. This is the A to Z roadmap for going from a local player to a true global brand. This right here, this is the whole playbook. Visibility creates authority. That authority builds deep trust, and that trust is what ultimately opens the floodgates to global clients and partners. Each step directly fuels the next. It's a beautiful chain reaction. I want to leave you with a pretty stark thought. The reason most firms never break out of their tier, it's not because their product is bad or their team isn't skilled. It's because they never, ever solve their visibility problem. They don't really fail. They just remain invisible forever. So it all boils down to this one question I want you to ask yourself. Because this whole thing isn't something that just happens to you. It's a choice. What would actually change for your business, for your growth, when you stop letting the market define you, and instead you decide to take control of your own perception?